So there seems to be some sentiment among some who've played Far Cry 2 that stealth is not a viable option for combat. Now this sentiment fascinates me as a stealth player myself who's been playing this game for over a decade, both on console and PC. So clearly I'm biased, right? But I want to explore this notion and see how much water it really holds. So firstly, what does viable even mean? So I hate semantics, and I don't want to turn this into some sort of semantics discussion. So forget that word, I'm going to judge the stealth build by two of my own standards. Standard number one, is the stealth build effective in a majority of situations? Standard number two, how does it compare to the most optimal build in the game? Before we answer these questions, let's cover what our stealth build is gonna be. So obviously, starting off, you need the camo suit. It's the most expensive thing in the game, I know, but for good reason. It's passively working gear that takes up no slots, doesn't require any sort of upkeep, and most importantly, it makes you harder to be detected while sneaking. I almost always grind diamonds through side quests to get this before actually doing the main quests. Alright, now for the weapons. So let's start with a special weapon, because I think this is going to be the easiest one, the dart rifle. It's like one of the best weapons in the game, so I probably don't have to explain this one, but I will. It's a ranged weapon for one thing, and ranged weapons in Far Cry 2 are usually the best weapons because of the huge sightlines in this game. On top of that, it's silent, and there tends to be a lot of synergy between stealth and range. As for your secondary weapon, it's gotta be the Silent Makarov, so this might be a bit of a hot take. I think the Silent Makarov is the best weapon in the game, full stop. So some of you are probably thinking, you know, what? What are you talking about? Okay, so hear me out. The gun has surprisingly good range and accuracy. The problem is that it doesn't have a scope like the dart rifle, so, you know, it's harder to land long-ranged headshots. But also, unlike the dart rifle, it carries a decent amount of ammo that's very easy to replenish. Just, you know, shoot a guy in the head, he drops a pistol, and then you pick up the ammo from that guy. So, you know, this might be a little bit of hyperbole, but you can kind of think of the Silent Makarov as a very high-skill dart rifle, but without the drawbacks of the dart rifle, of which there are many. So, tangentially, this brings us to an important topic. Some of you might be thinking that being super accurate with a pistol is a lot to ask for, and I think that's fair. If you're bad at aiming, or bad at FPS games in general, or maybe you're fairly average, but kind of a slow learner, and maybe you're only planning on playing this game once, then yeah, honestly, stealth might not be for you. The fact of the matter is that stealth works at its best when you can use the Silent Makarov effectively and consistently, which means you need to be good and fast at aiming, because if you don't, stealth is much less effective. I don't know, maybe it's just the way I play, but I'd argue that the Silent Makarov is really the centerpiece of the stealth build. Like, at the very least, I think most of my kills when I play stealth come from the Silent Makarov. So moving forward, I'm gonna assume that you're someone who's pretty good at FPS games, or at the very least, fairly experienced with this game. Or, you know, even if you're someone who is patient enough to learn how to use the Silent Makarov, because it's not like I was good with the Silent Makarov right off the bat. Anyway, tangent over, let's get back to the loadout, and finally onto the primary weapon. So for the primary weapon, I'm actually going to recommend an assault rifle. Now some of you are probably thinking, right, well, isn't there like two primary weapons that are silent? The silent shotgun and the silent MP5? Why not one of those? Let's start with the silent shotgun. So in terms of optimization, in terms of having an optimal loadout, by process of elimination, this one's pretty easy to exclude. It shoots slower than the silent MP5, and it has less range than the silent MP5. The silent shotgun's a fun gun to use. I love using it, it's fun, a lot of fun. But we're going for optimal here. Alright, so I don't recommend the silent shotgun, but why not the silent MP5? I actually don't think it's a bad gun. It's actually like my most used primary weapon, I'm pretty sure. But for stealth kills, if you're good at using the Makarov, then the Makarov's usually a much better choice anyway, so just use the Silent Makarov for stealth kills. The problem really lies with the MP5's accuracy, in that it's extremely low. The recoil on that thing is a real pain in the ass. I can't tell you how many times I've seemingly lined up the perfect shot. You know, I got the iron sights right on the guy's head with the MP5, I pull the trigger and the bullets fly over the guy's head. Just fly over the guy's head. And then suddenly everyone turns to where I am and they just start shooting at me and I'm Swiss cheese. It's not terrible again, it's not a terrible gun, but getting consistent results with it for stealth in a variety of situations it's hard. The reason I recommend an assault rifle is because you will screw up a few times and get caught early. So you want a gun that's good in a scrappy fight, which the dart rifle and Silent Makarov aren't necessarily built for. Now you might be thinking that, well, the Silent MP5 can kind of fill that role, right? Yeah, kind of. The problem with the Silent MP5 is the damage output. It's very low, but it also has high fire rate. So as long as you're aiming for the head, yeah, it pretty much gets the job done. It might be a little bit harder because, again, you gotta aim for the head, but yeah, if you can do that, then yeah, just use a Silent MP5. So yeah, if you want like a pure stealth build, then yeah, go Silent MP5, dart rifle, Silent Makarov. Okay, so we have our loadout established. Now, is this loadout effective in a majority of scenarios? Okay, so when we think of a majority of scenarios in Far Cry 2, I think it's fair to say that outpost fights make up a majority of the game. In which case, yes, I think this stealth build is great for these. One of the big weaknesses of outposts is the fact that they're fairly open and not too covered, so they're pretty much made to be sniped into. On the other hand, dart rifle ammo is limited, so you do need to be selective sometimes about where and how you use your dart rifle. So for instance, let's say you're clearing out an ammo outpost, then you can pretty much just use all your dart rifle ammo, because after you clear everyone out, then you just get your ammo back for your gun. This also includes if you're gonna run into a gun store pretty soon, might as well just waste all your dart rifle ammo and just get all your ammo back at the gun store. Also, if you have unlocked ammo piles for your safe houses, again, more opportunity for you to just get back your dart rifle ammo. There's even some outposts which have just like one ammo box just randomly lying around, so you'll start to remember which outposts do and which outposts don't. And you know, if you can't use your dart rifle or you're just looking to be conservative with your ammo consumption, then yeah, use the pistol, the Silent Makarov, get into medium range, and it should more than suffice assuming you know how to use it. And if you do all these things while fighting at night, you should be an absolute machine. So how does the stealth build compare to the most optimal build? Well, what is the most optimal build? Arguably, it's the sniper rifle build. Just put a sniper rifle in your primary weapon slot and go nuts. As I've said before, outposts are pretty weak to sniper rifles, right? But you don't have to be as careful with ammo management with just a regular sniper rifle as you do with the dart rifle. Sure, it's not quiet or sneaky, but when you're shooting from a mile away, who really cares? And hey, if you do want to be sneaky, just slot the Silent Makarov in the secondary weapon slot and you're pretty much good to go. And you still have that special weapon slot to play with, right? So the sniper rifle build has a ton of flexibility while still being able to use the game's strongest weapon type, so yeah, it's a good build, So that just leaves us with the question, how does the stealth build stack up? It doesn't stack up too well. The sniper rifle build is much more flexible, has less issues with resource management, and it's also much safer to run since you can just stay back a lot. This also makes it way more beginner friendly too than the stealth build. Even as a stealth player I can say this, the sniper rifle build is just all around much better than the stealth build. So there's my breakdown of the stealth build. I don't think that stealth is impossible to use, certainly not. You know, I'm showing you a lot of footage of me playing stealthy. And so yeah, it's doable. Maybe it's not easy, certainly. It's probably hard. Now, how does that stack up against the word viable? I have no idea. I have no idea. And frankly, I don't care. I just wanted to use this video as an excuse to really give my 2 cents on the nature of stealth in this game. And so yeah, hopefully I've enlightened you a little bit to my sort of point of view. Other than that, though, yeah, I don't really have any parting words for you. Just, you know, take what I told you, agree with it, disagree with it, compare it to your own definition of the word viable, and come up with an answer. Just, you know, there you go. Bye, folks. Have a wonderful day.